the past 40 years, Jeff Ruby has transformed Cincinnati's dining scene with extravagant, high-end design, perfectly prepared dishes, and over-the-top hospitality. And behind the city's most iconic steakhouses is a story of resilience, mentorship, and a relentless drive to give back.
The Jeff Ruby story is the most incredible story ever told.
Ruby's early years were marked by challenges and hardships that forced him to grow up fast. His mother struggled with alcoholism, and his father was absent from his life.
I can't imagine what it was like to run away at 15 years old, but he did. He was betting on himself. He took a risk.
Despite working and living on his own, Ruby continued going to school. What structure and support Ruby lacked from his parents, he began to find in his football coach, a man who mentored him and guided him toward a meaningful future.
His, football coach basically saved him, brought him into his home.
He went from failing every grade to Cornell University.
With the help of his coach, Ruby earned a scholarship to Cornell University's prestigious School of Hotel Administration. It was a turning point.
Weingartner Hammond was a company that managed facilities and hospitality. And they offered him a job, and they had offered him several different cities.
He had a choice to go to Syracuse or to come to Cincinnati, and he came to Cincinnati because he was a Reds fan.
1972, I was in a temporary living place staying at the Holiday Inn in a bar called Spanky's. I walked in, cavernous room, nobody in the room except a barmaid, a bartender, and a fellow in a suit. I said, "What do you do?" He said, "I'm the general manager here." I looked at him, I said, "Good luck." 3 months later, I walked to the place. There was a line to get in.
He was going to the Holiday Inn nightclub. I guess the Reds were. He knew how to attract people. He built relationships with Pete Rose and Johnny Bench and Sparky Anderson. He wanted to open his own restaurant, but he realized that he couldn't get the loan from the bank. And so he asked them, and they backed him.
And now his key investors were part of the Big Red Machine.
With their support in 1981, Ruby opened the precinct in an old police station.
The Bengals went to the Super Bowl that year, and Jeff made sure that we were in his restaurant and his nightclub as many days of the week as we could possibly be there.
It was an instant success, and its lavish theatrical design and meticulous upscale menu set the standard for Ruby's culinary empire. Today, the precinct is the longest-running fine dining restaurant in the city. Over the next 4 decades, Ruby expanded his one-of-a-kind dining experience across Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee, with operational support from his sons and daughter. Ruby's restaurants have been recognized as some of the best in the country.
What I hear about, almost regardless of where I am in a major city, is, "Oh, you have one of the greatest steakhouses in the country there." The Ruby's place, the Jeff Ruby's restaurants.
He's not retired, by the way. We don't want him to retire. I love that he's in the restaurants all the time. He's never had a good meal at any of our restaurants. So he is the ultimate quality assurance director, and that's great because it keeps us on our toes.
In 2018, the Ruby family launched the Jeff Ruby Foundation, a nonprofit aligned with Ruby's mission to help fatherless young men.
We say he came from nothing. He truly came from nothing. And that's why he does what he does and why he cares so much about kids and giving them a fighting chance. And that's why, he always says they have to have one person that they want to make proud.
And he understands there are so many young people, especially, that if they didn't have those people at every step along the way, they wouldn't survive, just like he wouldn't have survived. And so I think more than anything, he really treasures making those people feel special.
We live in the greatest country in the world, which gives us the privilege and opportunity to achieve. And that's what this award is about, achievement. But a greater privilege and opportunity that we receive through our achievement is the privilege and opportunity to give back. And he certainly is the epitome of that, and he's always given back.
And he has impacted thousands of lives. He has saved thousands of lives because of the impact that he has had on people.
I tell you, everybody knows him. One of the coolest guys in town, our laureate, Jeff Ruby.
I don't want to talk tonight. I just want to thank you. Number one, between the people that already came up here, my whole script was already told. The video is everything I was going to say. I don't know what to say now. But I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank Junior Achievement. By the way, can you all hear me? Yeah? And the millions of lives they have touched is incredible. Now, if I thank anyone else, this thing will go on all night over here. So I got to keep it short. I gave a speech. I was the keynote speaker for Mensa. And I learned from that experience, any time that I'm going to be speaking to people with a higher IQ than me, I'm going to need help. So, a lot of you know my friend, you're familiar with him. I always bring a friend up here when I give a speech to help me, to give me the confidence that I need, because I'm nervous. Here's my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers.
I needed that. Anyway, so what happened here, this thing tonight, I didn't take seriously at all. I saw this thing on a phone call. And, you know, I get robocalls all day long. So I thought it was a robocall. And especially, I just didn't, you got Scott Farmer, I don't belong up here. So when I got this message, I didn't pay any attention to it. I blew it off until John Barry said, no, you're in this thing. Because I got a daughter who's in YPO. I got a son that was chosen for 40 under 40. And I said, unless they come up with an 80 under 80 in the next few years, I got nothing. I'm not going to get nothing. So this is really, thank you. This is great, And, I came here, I was recruited at Cornell University by two companies, and they were both from Cincinnati, Procter & Gamble and Weingartner & Hammonds. So Procter & Gamble is a $350 billion company, and they wined and dined me. They flew me to here, they flew me there, and it was quite an impressive thing. I was very honored. Weingartner & Hammonds is a great hotel company, but they told me to drive to Syracuse and check out one of their hotels. That was it. But Eric Camford, he called me, the president of Weingartner & Hammonds. And he made me an offer I couldn't confuse. And I couldn't confuse it. He made it clear. To accept this offer, you got to go to Syracuse. And that's where you're going to start. I said, I don't want to go I want to go to Cincinnati. He said, why do you want to go to Cincinnati? I'm a Reds fan. You're a Reds fan. You're born and raised in New Jersey. Why are you a Reds fan? Forget it. I'm a Reds fan. That's where I'm going. I'm 22 years old, and I'm telling this guy what to do. So I'm surprised, So this was going on all summer. I graduated, I think, in May. It was going on all. He's insisting, if I want to go to work for Weingartner & Hammonds, I'm going to start in Syracuse. And I kept insisting, I'm going to Cincinnati, or I'm staying at Perkins Pancake House. And by August, I had insisted him. He said, okay, you win, you're going to Cincinnati, you'll be at the Holiday Inn on 8th and Lynn. I'm going to pay you $700 a month. 8th and Lynn. Tomorrow, the next day I was in Cincinnati. I drove my car here, 69 Dodge Charger, which Eric Camford told me I can't have. It's not a Holiday Inn prototype. And then and for 55 years now, I've lived in the greatest city in America. Thanks a lot. So, as fate would have it, and it's already been covered on this thing, this Reds fan from New Jersey, Sparky Anderson, takes me, and I'm like Sparky's seconds. I'm like his son. Both of his books, he talked a lot about me. So I'm like a son to Sparky, this father I never had. Johnny Bench and the great Pete Rose were my friends. And Pete and Johnny talked 8 other guys, good, sharp businessmen, to buy a bankrupt Mexican restaurant that had 52 liens in the midst of the worst economy since the Great Depression, with a horrible location. And they convinced it to do that. And Pete and Johnny, I could tell you, without Pete and Johnny, the Reds don't win back-to-back World Series in 75 and 76. Without Pete and Johnny, there's no precinct. So that's how the whole thing started. Now, the competition. I got 3 mobile 5-star restaurants downtown I'm going to be competing with. And there were a lot of other good restaurants. So I said, listen, I can do everything they're doing, but try to do it better. Or I can do something that nobody's done and not have to invite comparison. I wanted this place to be different. I knew it had to be different. The location, the economy, this thing had to be different. And the concept I created, I conjoined 2 demographically opposed clienteles and commingled them into fine dining and a jamming, hot, high-energy, 136 beats per minute discotheque. People thought I was crazy, but that's what I did, and it worked. So now people are coming in from other cities. We want one of these here. We'll back you. We'll front the money. We'd like you to come and put a precinct in this city. And then I had 3 little kids right after I opened the precinct. So I had to make a decision. And my decision was influenced by my childhood, which I found out you already heard. So I ran away from home when I was 15. I lived by myself. I raised myself. There were no parents involved. And I wanted to be the dad to those 3 kids that I never had. And those kids, turned out that my patience was rewarded. Because Brittany, Brandon, and Dylan are the reason the company grew. I wanted to see my kids grow before I wanted to see my company go. And they turned out. Eventually, the company grew because of them. So thank you, children. So when he got, and by the way, I turned these offers down, so these other people, these people that made me the offer, they come back, and they steal my managers. So one of them, I mean, they knocked off and they copied the precinct from Sarasota, Florida to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They got the deal that I turned down, and they just copied the precinct everywhere. One guy plagiarized me so well, he repeated my mistakes. So now I've got this thing going on, and I'm going to tell you what. That was 1981. The precinct is the only restaurant left from the 81 that was fine dining. It's the only one left. And thank you. And you're the reason why. Carlo and Johnny's has been here for 24 years, and you're the reason why. And Jeff Ruby's has been here 26 years. And by the way, it's still open. And you're the reason why. The best thing about being here tonight for me was to finally have the opportunity to say thank you. This is what this meant to me, that I could do this. You supported me. You believed in me. And you let me be me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I want to thank that father I do have up there. for telling me to stay the hell away from Syracuse.